All right, we do not have an HF38B radiation detector, but when we get that, we will do a reading here. This is a 5G small cell in Santa Rosa, California. Now, it's right next to residences, and it's right next to, let's see, this guy's coming out of his apartment. It's right next to, some shops over here. And you can see the radios here. All those thick wires. And you could also see there's no smart meter installed. So that's where the smart meter will go. So this one's not live yet. There's the antenna at the top. All right, so it's obviously going to hook up to the smart grid via the smart meter. And at that point, we can do an accurate radiation detecting. So basically their plan has been to... Exactly, that's why I'm filming them, brother. Exactly, so it's good. This guy said, hey, that's going to give you cancer. So I'm glad that some people have an awareness. I saw some people just walking by a tower earlier and having no idea. They seem very oblivious. Anyways, so what they're doing is they set up the infrastructure. And whether people like it or not, they're protected. Telecom is protected by the 1996 Telecommunications Act, which restricts local control over these. So the city councils have their hands tied. And now they put them up on these wooden PG+E poles. These are owned by PG+E. PG+E is owned by Rothschild Corp. So PG+E owns Rothschild owns the power companies, and they put the 5G up on their poles. So this goes to show you that the fight needs to be fought now. We do not consent to this, not only this just being installed near neighborhoods where people sleep and live and work over here, but we cannot allow them to make it live, to put the smart meter in, hook the smart grid up, and get this thing going. So do not get any smart appliances, because 5G is reliant on you hooking up the Internet of Things in your house and getting smart appliances that will connect to this smart meter, smart grid, so everything's pulsing data back and forth. Now 5G is basically a carrier of information that can pulse very quickly and a lot of data at once at very high speeds. It can't travel very far, so they'll need a lot of these installed, within 300 feet of each other or whatever. Now, if you're a skeptic and you say, oh, that's what they said about 2G and 3G and 4G, and you're downplaying this, and you were a skeptic about chemtrails, and now you're quiet. I don't hear you talking now. Maybe you think meat is good for you, and you haven't seen what the IARC, the International Agency for the Research on Cancer, found. So if you got cognitive dissonance and you're gonna make some stupid comment here in the comment section, downplaying this, or maybe saying I'm fear-mongering, you know what? You haven't done the research. You're just spewing cognitive dissonance, all right? I dealt with all that stuff before with chemtrails and meat and every other thing that we've been trained to think is just harmless and normal, and it's not. And I do not consent to those lies. So just be aware of these. This is what a 5G small cell installation looks like, and always check the smart meter. If there's no smart meter, it's not live. If there is a smart meter, it could be live. All right, now we are in Santa Rosa still, but we are at the site of another 5G small cell installation that is right near a homes and a small business. Okay, now we've looked at this one in the past. As you can see, there's the radios again, the antenna up top, and the smart meter is over here. The smart meter is already installed in this one, and it looks like it's pulsing data. So we could do a test on this one, but we don't have an accurate, we have an EMF detector that's more for the house. That's the, I'm forgetting the name of it right now, the Tri-Field. The Tri-Field, I think it's the 100XE. Now that's more for like microwaves and your, electricity in your walls and stuff. So I want to get the most accurate reader before we do any readings, because you know what, the skeptics and chills will pop up. But what I really want to do is interview these folks. So we're going to actually go knock on a door right now. It's a Sunday morning, and I don't know if that's maybe out of line, but we're going to see what we can do, because this is a big deal. And the last time I was here, the guy was pulling out of his driveway in a white truck, and he saw me filming, and I thought he was going to shoo me off, like, hey, what are you doing here? And he was very concerned, and he told me that I could see a tear in his eyes when we were speaking right here. And he told me he fought this tooth and nail, that they just put a notice on this pole owned by Rothschild Corp and PG+E that they were going to put this tower up, and there's nothing he could do about it. Basically, he pled with the city council, and he got no help whatsoever. And I swear to God, I wouldn't swear to God, but he looked at me and he was telling me the story, and there was a tear in his eyes of just futileness and frustration. Okay, so we went and knocked on the door of one of those houses that was near that 5G small cell where it was actually on. The smart meter is on there, and it's pulsing data. So I went up, their door was open luckily, and I said, excuse me, sorry to bother you on a Sunday morning, but can you please talk to me about this 5G small cell that's out there? And they were more than willing. Their name was Kyle and Sadie, and they said that it hasn't affected them too much, but I need to talk to the chiropractor, which is right next to the tower, and because she has been experiencing some symptoms from that tower. And then I told them there are some technologies that can help if you do start feeling some symptoms from that. Told them about Orgonite really quick, that I'm not trying to sell them something, but I just want them to know that there are stuff you can use, Orgon energy devices, that will help. And they said they appreciated that, so I will come back and interview Michelle, the chiropractor, and we'll get her thoughts. So yesterday we stopped by that chiropractor who has the 5G small cell outside of her business, about 20 feet away, and we interviewed her, and I got it on tape, and spoke with her for about 45 minutes, and there was a big discussion, and out of respect for her, she asked me not to post the footage of the interview, and so I will not. But all I can say is she is definitely affected by that constant stream of radiation. She says that it's noticeable before it went up compared to after, that it's just constant now, 24/7. And so that is the main concern with these small cells, is that they don't get turned off. If anything, they'll get turned up, okay, to pull some more data. And when you put it right outside someone's business or someone's home, it's an infringement on our rights. It's not okay, and we need to do everything in our power to fight it, period. So the whole point of me wanting to get that footage was to continue to build the evidence that where these are erected and where they're turned on, they are causing harm. And so we need testimonials like that. We need testimonies and videos showing that they're damaging trees, that they're damaging humans, they're damaging biological organisms, the environment, everything, bees. So if you have footage, if you have a radiation detector, go do the readings, but check to see if the smart meter is on. Otherwise, you're probably not going to get a reading. But we need to mount evidence. We need to mount evidence, and we need to then provide it to our city councils on a local level and do what we can to fight back. The 1996 Telecommunications Act makes it very challenging because our local control is restricted, and the feds basically are calling the shots. And so they knew what they were doing a long time ago, and they knew this has been planned for a long time, but we have to take the evidence now of the harm that it's causing, okay? If we just kind of sit back and wait for them to turn on 5G and everyone gets their 5G phones and their smart appliances, and they don't mind their toaster oven talking to their microwave and all this stuff, and then we're tacitly agreeing to 5G. We're saying, I want all this technology. I don't care that it's at a much higher frequency, pulsing millimeter waves, and it's a military weapon. I want my technology, and I consent to it. So in my opinion, we fight back by providing evidence that it's causing harm, by demanding safety testing before the rollout. We know that won't happen, though, because that would be damning to telecom, and they won't produce any results that's damning to their agenda. So we need to call them out on that fact. You cannot roll out a technology that's never been safety tested